You got 3 games, and that includes the first 2 exhibitions.
Beautiful. Go Rebels. What's Kruger going to do? Is he going to impose his own?
No, that's
the suspension.
Yeah.
So 1 regular season game.
Yeah, against UC Riverside.
Wow. He's lucky to be in school. That's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I understand.
There are a different set of rules for the normal person in this world and these athletes.
Yeah, just win, baby.
And so
Definitely is.
that is, talk about a feather on the wrist. It's not a slap. It's a
feather
tickle.
on the wrist.
You got
I
a
like
tickle
that.
on the wrist. I should have been a famous athlete. I could have done whatever I wanted to do. Yeah, you know, it's no, but this is why there's such a disconnect between fans and athletes.
Right.
You know, fans see that, and the reaction we had on the radio show yesterday was, it was, there were a couple of people who were like, oh, you know, he's going to be embarrassed because he's going to do community service. Okay. I'm really kidding.
Let's get that one on. Is that the sound it makes?
But
That's the sound.
the vast majority, and these are UNLV fans, saying that's a joke.
Right.
That's an absolute joke. I mean, it's no contest. He pleaded to domestic battery.
Yeah.
If you plead
Basically,
no
a
contest,
one-game
you did it.
suspension.
Okay? Because if you didn't do it, you don't plead no contest. No contest is basically, I know technically it's not an admission of guilt or a claim of innocence. Everybody knows what it is. And that's just an absurdly light penalty.
Bad karma time for the Rebels.
But here's the thing. And this is why the NCAA is completely out of touch with reality. The NCAA doesn't have any guidelines for that. So the NCAA has no ruling on this whatsoever. Matt Shaw, same team. Matt Shaw, marijuana test positive. Entire senior year, gone.
Yep.
For a joint.
He should have
So in other words, they have a rule against testing positive for marijuana, but no rule in the NCAA against beating up some woman.
That's why I said.
I mean,
that's why I
kind
said.
of an
Isn't it
organization
amazing that the
is
NC2A takes Reggie Bush's trophy away, which I'm not saying is wrong, the Heisman Trophy, but O.J. Simpson still has his.
Yeah.
I mean, one guy's allegedly taking a little bit of cash.
Well, actually, you know, now,
and he was found guilty in the civil suit, O.J. So.
Well, but O.J. has now been convicted of kidnapping. So
right.
Yeah,
He
exactly.
actually does have
that's
a criminal,
okay.
He has a criminal conviction.
All of that's okay.
Maybe the light bulb will go off in their head now that they do this to Reggie, and they'll say, let's get OJ's back as well.
Maybe the statute of limitations ran out.
It's the problem. This is the problem with the NCAA. They're living in the 1950s. They haven't updated their rules at all to fit today. It's the problem with Major League Baseball. That's why you have a phenomenal race going on in the National League right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's been an absolutely great race in the National League. No attention whatsoever. It's because they've got a commissioner who's living in the dark ages, doesn't even realize. This guy's so freaking stupid. He doesn't realize.
I think it's
that
also.
You're trying to tell some 12-year-old kid that you're trying to convince him to become a baseball fan. Oh, we don't use replay because it's a tradition. What are you, fucking stupid?
But you know what?
No, serious.
You know what it is?
There isn't a kid alive who's going to look at that and go, what? What do you mean you don't use replay?
I love going to baseball as much as you do. That's my favorite
with
sport
the
to go
technology
to.
today,
But
the
if
way
you're
kids
under
are into
30,
it, it's
if
really
you're
nasty.
under 30,
Well, it's the same
you
with
watch the
soccer.
X Games, you watch
FIFA.
you watch
doesn't
stuff
use
where
replay
people are
either.
almost
And that's the
dying.
biggest game in the world.
The people that are
Not
out
here,
there,
it's
they
not.
want to see blood and guts.
Well, I said in the world, we're not.
Okay, well, the rest of the world's not here, though. I mean, in this country, you have to keep up with the technology if you want to sell the kids. I mean, look,
I still don't agree that it's going to make a difference with people under 30.
it probably is too late now.
Well, they're
But they
watching the X
should
Games.
be
and they're
taking
watching,
advantage of the technology as football's done all along. Football doesn't slow down a bit. Their audience keeps on growing.
But I think it's silly to believe that just one.
It's a contributing
technology-
factor.
That's not why kids are adopting the sport, because they don't use replay.
No, but it's just one more thing. But what it is it's symptomatic of what's wrong with baseball overall. Their refusal to get away from this thing about we're all about tradition. That doesn't sell.
You know what though? What I think makes baseball
They're all about
great.
tradition. They wouldn't let the athletes take steroids.
What I
They keep
think
those things in the record books.
what I think makes baseball great is what 15-year-olds think that makes it boring. I like just the laid back approach of Major League Baseball. I like thinking about what you got to do when a man's on first at the bottom of the ninth, and there's one out, and is the pitcher gonna pitch around the batter, or what's a guy's on second or whatever, and the people that are 14, 15 years old, they want to see guys doing quadruple backflips and gainers on their motorcycles.
But, you know,
Seriously,
did you watch-
there's nothing wrong with that. It's just the way things are.
Did you watch the Atlanta Braves game last night in the 9th inning? Did you watch it the last
Tuesday night? Yeah.
Last night? The guy must have thrown over to first base 15 times.
Right.
And, you know, and I love that. But
Right.
everyone else is watching that probably thinking, like, just throw the home plate on
That
it.
part's
Yeah.
true. I mean, we're an immediate gratification
That's
society,
the whole thing.
which is why red zone is
Well, that's also fantasy football is what's driving
Right.
that.
in betting.
Yeah, definitely.
I
And
think
fantasy
so.
football.
Fantasy football more,
fantasy
but
football
betting's
much
doing it
more.
also. It's got a
I
share.
don't know, but I think that might be pretty close. Because they run the fantasy football, they've been running the fantasy football stats on each game as they show the scores on the ticker. But this is even more expanded. But the NFL generates so much better. Look, to me, this was put in, and most fantasy football leagues are for money. So here's the NFL. The NFL lies like crazy, but it doesn't matter. Because they know what they're doing. They created this specifically for people who have money on some kind of outcome of the game, whether it's a bet or whether it's a fantasy football. Specifically for that. So they get it, they just don't say that they get it.
Right.
Some of the other sports actually don't get it. They just don't get it. They're run by old men who have no clue.
Well, that's like Major League Baseball should do what the NFL does. You can sit there and you can choose 30 players or whatever and track what they're doing throughout a game. And you can hit the button on your remote to go to that menu to see, what your quarterback is doing, what your running back's doing throughout the game, live as it happens. And if Major League Baseball would do something like that and make it interactive on their network or whatever, their package, it would definitely help out. I mean,
But that's what I mean about tying into technology.
Right.
I mean, the replay is the simplest thing of all. But that other stuff that's what it sells the
can have
personalities.
competitions
It
about-
makes the game faster moving.
because you can't gamble, you could have competitions, earn points, whatever. Sit there watching what's going to happen next and be able to enter it and be interactive on your remote and really set things up for competitions from the certain networks that
It'd be
allow
a
that
big
have the ability
expansion
to
of
do that.
fantasy baseball to another level completely. And that's something that kids would get into. Because now,
I just think it's this. I go to a baseball game and what do I see? People my age or older, and the only kids I see are those that are under 12 who are
With their
basically
parents.
dragged there by their parents. Between like 12 and 30, you don't see it. There's just nobody there at the baseball games between 12 and 30 that are there because on their own accord.
too bad.
It is. I
It's
love
an
it.
awesome game,
Yeah.
man.
Nothing like a cold beer and a couple of buddies watching a
To
baseball
me,
game.
it's the
Especially
best
when
game
you're
there
15
is.
years old sitting there with
Even younger.
So there's a lot more things to be interested in than there was 40, 50 years ago.
Sure.
So there was no X stuff.
X Games and whatever else.
Yeah.
virtual reality
Internet,
shows online.
internet stuff.
Right.
Kids today are totally into the internet. They're always on the internet.